Hi, good morning. I'm Constable Stephen Spencer, Winnipeg Police Public Information Officer. We have one media release today. We have an update to Project Artemis, an investigation that began in August of this year. And on October 11th, 2024, the Winnipeg Police Service issued a media release and held a press conference regarding an animal cruelty investigation known as Project Artemis. Members of the East District Community Support Unit entered into a complex investigation after receiving a report from the Office of the Provincial Veterinarian Animal Welfare. The report detailed videos and photographs showing the torture and killing of animals, which were being shared on the dark web. Two individuals, a 55-year-old female, Irene Lima, and a 40-year-old male, Chad Cabex of Winnipeg, were taken into custody for several animal cruelty-related charges. During the initial investigation, officers executed a search warrant at a residence in the Lord Roberts area, seizing evidence that included several electronic devices. Since then, investigators obtained additional search warrants to analyze the contents of the seized devices. The analysis of the electronic devices by investigators uncovered hundreds of videos and photographs and tens of thousands of encrypted communications between Cabex and Lima. As a result of this information, investigators determined that in June 2024, Cabex established an exclusive underground black market network where prospective members were required to submit a video of themselves killing an animal to gain entry. Cabex and Lima not only facilitated the creation and distribution of its content, but also profited financially from it. Between May 20th, 2024 and October 7th, 2024, more than 75 animals were filmed or photographed being tortured and killed. None survived. In some of these instances, there was also a sexual component to the offense. Investigators also discovered communications where Lima and Cabex discussed their intention to torture a child. There was also a sexual component to this offense. Investigators further discovered that between May and October 2024, several images of child pornography had been accessed on a device belonging to Cabex and Lima. On November 25th, 2024, Lima and Cabex were charged with the following additional offenses: access child pornography, make, print, publish, or possess child pornography for the purpose of publication, conspiracy to commit an indictable offense, possess proceeds of crime under $5,000, bestiality times 4, killing or injuring animals times 6, causing unnecessary suffering to an animal times 6. Cabex was also charged with uttering threats to cause death or bodily harm and compelling bestiality times 4. Both have been remanded into custody. Due to the nature of online criminal activity, this investigation has expanded internationally, reaching several other countries. Law enforcement agencies in those countries will continue pursuing their own investigations as part of this ongoing effort. This investigation has understandably captured public attention, with many people sharing information they've gathered about these involved. We want to assure the community that investigators and the justice system are handling the matter thoroughly and diligently, and we ask citizens for patience and trust in this legal process. Any form of retribution or inappropriate behavior directed towards these individuals will not be tolerated. Before I take questions, I do want to acknowledge this case is deeply disturbing. and I want to acknowledge the impact it may have on our community. Crimes like these can be difficult to hear about and may leave many feeling upset and uneasy. It's important to remember that our collective strength as a community is key to standing against such acts. While these investigations can take a significant toll on those involved, including our investigators, they are driven by a shared commitment to safety and well-being of every citizen in Winnipeg. And together we can work towards fostering a community where acts such like this have no place.
Is there any indication at this point that there might be human victims out there?
So, as I discussed earlier, the charge was, give me one sec here. It was make, print, or possess child pornography. So there was a discussion regarding it, and there was a sexual connotation to that, which is why that charge was laid. From what we know, there was no children actually involved.
Do you know if either of these suspects have children themselves?
They do not have children together, no.
Can we expect any further charges against KBEX? A lot of these new charges are against Lima. I'm wondering if there may be more coming down for KBEX as well.
At this time, I don't know about any other further charges. I don't believe so. It is an ongoing investigation, and anything to do with the dark web, to do with computers, to do with this kind of where we've seized devices and there's photographs and videos, other things tend to come up. But at this point, those are the charges that we've laid.
Is there a dollar figure for how much they were profiting from this?
So the charges possess proceeds of crime under $5,000. What that exact number is, I can't get into that. I can say what they know is it's under 5,000. But again, this investigation is continuing. Could it be more money? Absolutely. But at this point, they know that it's under $5,000.
Thank you.
Is there any belief that there are other Winnipeggers that were customers or were taking part in these actions along with Lima?
At this time, I don't believe that anyone else in Winnipeg was involved. This is spanned internationally. So kind of speaking generally, when it comes to cases like this that involve the web, where somebody is it doesn't really matter as far as the offense is concerned, other than the investigating units will be where it's procured. So a lot of this content was procured in Winnipeg by these two individuals, which is why they've been charged from here. As far as anybody else involved at this time, we're not aware of, and the investigation is still continuing. So,
what information led to the new chargers, and how did you get it? Did you go through their computers?
Yeah. So, like I mentioned before, there was a search warrant that was done during the initial arrest and investigation. And those seizures of those electronic devices do tend to take a while. So there's, in partnership with other units in the service, they would go through that data. And even just getting the warrants for those can be quite labor intensive. So as a result of those warrants and the information found on those devices since the original arrest, that's where these new charges come from.
Is Chad Cadex back in jail?
He remains in custody right now.
Do we know who are the child photographies, pornography that you have access to? Do we know who they are?
From what I know, there is no identification at this point of those.
Yeah. Okay. And the intention for child torture, do we know if this child was someone they knew, someone related to them, or?
No, that was there was a conversation that was located on these devices, so that no child was actually involved, but there was a planning of that. Yeah.
You mentioned other countries are being involved now. How many countries are we talking about here?
Well, you know what, as this is still an ongoing investigation, I can't get into which countries directly are involved. I can say that the investigations in those countries, the agencies that have interest will be furthering this investigation.
Just from the scale of this, these alleged acts, have you ever experienced anything from this number of animals to how widespread this is?
Yeah, absolutely not. Like this is definitely by far the biggest case that we've seen. And I mean, it's international. It covers so many aspects of these criminal offenses, and we've never seen anything like this. Absolutely.
What makes it international? Is it the fact that the people who are submitting in their pictures, like to buy the animals, come from other countries, or is it because of the connections that the accused have had with other countries?
Yeah, it would. When it comes to the internet and the dark web, so information that's posted can be tracked, even though people believe it might be not tracked, or you might be anonymous. That can all be tracked. So what I understand is there would be, IP addresses, that kind of thing. But from what we know, the only two people involved in Winnipeg are the accused here.
You mentioned that they didn't have children together. Do they have children in general?
I don't believe so.
Did they have animals of their own?
So as that's still kind of part of the investigation, I don't want to get into the weeds on that.
Any other questions?
There's one other thing. There was several police cars and ambulances at Polo Park Mall yesterday at 4 o'clock. Could you comment on what happened there? Was it like an assault or anything?
Actually, if you care to send an email, we can definitely give you an update on that. Yeah.
Any other questions on this case? Thank you.